Dragon Tales presents To Fly with Dragons. Adapted by Justine and Ron Fontes from a script by Cliff Ruby and Elena Lesser, based on the characters by Ron Rodecker, illustrated by Ted and Nick. Oh, and they even have the little rhyme here. Shall we say it together? I wish with all my heart to fly with dragons in a land apart. The magic began the moment Emmy and Max first set eyes on their new home. On their new house. They just didn't know it yet. I hate it already, Max grumbled as he marched up the front steps. I don't want to live here. Come on, Max. It won't be so bad, Emmy said, using her cheeriest big sister voice. Remember, it's home now. But even Emmy's voice trembled just a little. Why don't you wait until you see inside before you make up your minds? Their mother said as she opened the front door. Their father gave them a gentle push. Try the door at the top of the stairs, he said. Look for the dragon. Look for the dragon? What could he mean? The children walked into the house, looking around at doors and windows and hallways they'd never seen before. The dragon was easy to spot. Max blinked. The friendly-looking dragon seemed to wink at him. Emmy opened the door slowly to find an amazing playroom. Look, our toys are here, Max squealed with delight. Max grabbed his green dump truck and plopped himself in the window seat. He swung his legs happily as he spun the wheels. One shoe hit the seat with a loud thud. Oh no, Max whispered, looking down at a big crack in the wood. Emmy, I broke the new house. You didn't break it, Emmy said, taking a closer look. She wiggled her fingers into the crack and pulled. It's a secret drawer. A lovely glow like starlight was coming from inside the drawer. But the only thing inside was a small box. Let me, Max cried, opening the lid. Inside, a strange something glowed with rainbow colors. Emmy looked at the box, then at the dragons on the wall. She knew at once what the something was. It's a dragon scale, Max, Emmy said in an excited whisper. And look what's written on the box. Together, they read the rhyme aloud. Let us all say it together, shall we? I wish with all my heart to fly with dragons in a land apart. As the children spoke, dragons leapt off the wallpaper and began to dance in the air. The dragons whirled faster and faster around them. The walls of the playroom seemed to melt away. The next thing the children knew, they were standing in the middle of a wide green meadow. The playroom, the dragon scale, and the sparkles had vanished. Where are we, Emmy? Max gasped. I want to go home. Emmy reached down to see if the meadow was real or just a dream. At the touch of her finger, a rock turned from dull brown to brilliant blue. Look at this, Emmy held up the rock for Max to see. I found a rock too, Max said as he picked up a triangle-shaped stone. But it just stayed white. Figures, Max grumbled, stuffing it into his pocket. Max, I think the dragon scale took us someplace magical, Emmy said, beaming. The children were so busy looking at all the wonders around them that they never even thought to look up. There are dragons up there. I think I know where they are. They did notice, though, when two creatures swooped down from the clouds and landed with a thump. Emmy, Max cried, hiding behind his sister. Dragons!
You won't bite me, will you?
The big blue dragon asked nervously. He tried to hide too. Me bite you? Max said, his fear fading with a giggle. I'm Emmy, and this is Max, Emmy told the dragons. I'm Cassie, the pink dragon answered shyly. And this is my friend Ord. Where are we? Emmy wondered out loud. Dragonland, Cassie replied. I've never seen real children here before. Suddenly there came a thundering rumble. It was Ord's tummy.
Time for a snack!
Ord tossed up some purple popcorn kernels and popped them in the air with a burst of fire breath.
Now I'm not hungry anymore. Just sad,
Ord said with a sigh. He explained that he had lost his first baby tooth that morning and couldn't find it anywhere. Why don't you check all the places you played today? Emmy suggested. That's what I do when I lose things. Oh yes, that is a good idea. Just do that, Ord. Just retrace your steps.
Maybe I lost my tooth at Singing Springs when I showed it to Zach and Wheezy,
Ord said, thinking out loud.
Come on, let's fly.
With a great bound, both dragons took to the sky.
Aren't you coming?
Ord asked with a puzzled look. Emmy was embarrassed to admit that children couldn't fly.
Can't fly?
Ord said, amazed. Do you want to ride? Cassie asked. Emmy didn't have to think twice. Definitely, she shouted. Then Emmy and Max were flying, soaring high above the meadow on the backs of two dragons. Whee! Max shrieked in glee. Wouldn't it be fun to fly with a dragon, everyone? I think it would. Soon, the dragons came in for a landing near a cave. Suddenly, there was a loud rumble. But this time, it wasn't Ord's stomach. The ground quaked, and a gaping black hole appeared. What's that? Emmy asked in alarm.
Haven't you ever seen a knucker hole before?
Ord asked the startled children. Before he could explain, a two-headed dragon exploded out of the hole. Whoosh! I told you we should have turned right, snapped the purple half. Well, I got us here, didn't I? Whined the green half. It just took longer. These are our friends Zach and Wheezy, Cassie told the children, giggling at their surprised faces. Real children? Wheezy gasped. Wow! Zack complained. Oh, stop being such a fuddy-duddy, Wheezy scolded. Ord interrupted the squabbling by asking,
Have you two seen my tooth?
Zack and Wheezy shook their heads. I wonder where Ord's tooth could be. What about you, everyone? Where do you think Ord's tooth could be? Let us keep reading and we shall see. What about Quetzal? Cassie suggested shyly. Maybe he can help. What's a Quetzal? Max wondered.
He's our teacher at the school in the sky,
Ord explained.
Quetzal will know what to do. He knows everything.
With a flutter of wings, they were all on their way. Soon, they caught their first glimpse of the school high on a mountain. A large golden dragon came out to meet them. ¡Qué sorpresa! Children, he exclaimed. Hola, niños. You speak Spanish? Emmy said in amazement. Sí, I come from Mexico, Quetzal explained. Max and Emmy couldn't believe it. Their family was from Mexico too. What a surprise to see children in Dragonland once more, Quetzal said, beaming. Once more, Emmy thought to herself. But before she could ask, Quetzal gestured for everyone to come inside. The old teacher pulled down a book from a shelf. He waved his great claws, and the book opened by itself. Emmy and Max watched in wonder as pictures floated off the page. You see, niños, long ago there was a lonely dragon who wished to play with children, Quetzal read. So she sprinkled magic dust on her brightest, shiniest scales and blew them right out of Dragonland. From the page rose the picture of a rainbow-colored scale. It's just like ours back home, Max cried. Whenever children are lucky enough to find a scale, they come to visit Dragonland, Quetzal said, finishing his story. He closed the big book. Ord had been listening carefully, but now he remembered something else.
We still haven't found my tooth,
he sniffled. Max suddenly remembered something. He dug into his pocket and pulled out the white stone he'd found. Is this your tooth? Max said, holding it out to Ord.
Max, you found it!
Ord exclaimed, scooping the boy up in a hug. Ord loves hugs.
Dragons get a wish for every tooth that falls out. Now I can make one.
What will you wish for? Max wanted to know. Ord smiled.
I'll wish that you could play with us all the time.
He blew on the tooth to make his wish. Love it! Wheezy squealed. Emmy definitely liked the idea of playing with the dragons, but she was starting to miss her parents and her home. Their house might be new, but it was home after all. I'd like to visit again, but right now, I wish we could go home, Emmy said. Only we don't know how. Quetzal smiled. Do not worry, Niña, he said. Quetzal's eyes twinkled. There is one way to make both wishes come true. He handed each of the dragons their own magic scale. When you rub these scales, Quetzal told them, Max and Emmy's scale will glow, telling them to come play. And Max and Emmy could use their own scale to make the journey back to Dragonland anytime they wanted. As for you, niños, Quetzal told Emmy and Max, here is a rhyme to send the children home. The children said it after him, word for word. Everybody say it with me now. I wish to use this rhyme to go back home until next time. In a flash, the children were back in their playroom. The clock on the wall showed that no time had passed. They ran to find their dragon scale to make sure it hadn't been just a dream. Sure enough, the scale was there, snug in its box. From the hallway, they heard their mother call, Emmy, Max, how do you like our new home? Emmy didn't know what to say. Max did. It turned out to be the perfect answer. Love it! The end. What would you do if you visited Dragonland? And what would you do if you found a magical scale in your room? Let me know in the comments below. See you later. Bye.